this video, we are going to talk about adverb clauses. Adding adverb clauses to our writing will help our writing sound more academic, and it will also help us to connect our ideas more coherently. So, what is an adverb? An adverb is a word that shows how something is done. So, for example, the student writes. The student writes, here is the subject, and then this is the action in the form of verb. This is the answer to the question, how does the student write? So if I say the student writes creatively, this would be the answer to how. This is WH question word how. How does the student write? So we'll say previously it was unknown, the student writes. Now we know how does the student write. The student writes creatively. Again, this is the subject, this is the action in the form of verb, and then this is the question how, and the answer to that how is creatively. The student writes creatively. So creatively is an adverb. This is going to be an adverb. But adverbs do a lot more than just describe how something is done. We are not looking at what they do to one word. We are not only describing what they do to one word, we are actually looking at what they do to an entire clause. And that's why we call them adverb clauses. So now let's talk about what a clause is. A clause is a group of words with a subject. There should be a subject and there should be a verb, and at the same time it should have some sense, means there should be some sense of that particular chunk of words. So as I said, that a clause is a group of words with a subject and a verb, and then it should have some sense as well. A subject is going to be a thing, or it is going to be a person, thing or a person that performs the action. Over here, this is the person, and previously it was a student that was performing the action. So subject is going to be a thing or a person that performs the action in a sentence. So in this sentence, he runs fast. This is the subject. Because over here the word he or the performer he is the one doing the action. He is doing the action. That is why this is the subject. Runs is actually the verb. This is the action that he performs. So verb in the form of action is there. So we always have a subject and a verb in a clause. Similarly, if I say he, this is the subject and this is the action goes, this is verb and this one is the subject, he goes to college every day. So over here, once again, we have the same concept. He goes, subject and a verb, and then this is a prepositional phrase, to college, and then this is every day. So this is adding to make a sense or to make a meaning of this particular sentence or this particular clause. Now there are two different types of clauses. There are two different types of clauses. There are clauses that are a complete sense by, or a complete the clauses that gives us complete sense, we know that, but there are clauses that are a complete sentence in themselves or by themselves, because they have a subject, they have a verb, and there is always going to be a complete idea, subject, verb, and complete idea. And then there are the clauses that have subject, that have a subject and a verb, but they are not complete. No complete idea is given by them. So they have the subject, they have the verb, but they are not complete. And those two types are called independent and dependent respectively. So in independent clause, subject, verb, and complete idea, they are there. But in dependent clause, there is going to be a subject, there is going to be a verb, but it is going to be dependent, means it is not going to give complete idea. No complete idea is there. So if we take this sentence once again, he goes to college every day, this is giving us a complete idea. So these independent clauses and dependent clauses are the two types of clauses. This is to be clear. For example, if I say, take this example once again, he goes to college every day, makes sense because over here this is the subject and this is the verb. He goes to college, this is the subject, and then this is the verb, goes. He goes. Where does he go? He goes to college every day. This makes sense. It's a complete idea over here. With the help of this phrase, this is going to be a complete idea, and this may be called a sentence, or it is an independent clause. So this clause is going to be the independent clause because it has got a subject and a verb, and then to college every day, these words are going to make the sense complete, and there is going to be a complete idea behind this subject and verb, and with the help of this phrase, it is going to make it a complete independent clause. So no complete idea there over here. If I say he likes to work out, this particular clause, he likes to work out. So how can we differentiate it from the previous example, he goes to college every day? If I add because in the beginning of this particular clause, he likes to work out, this was an independent clause, but by the addition of this word because, it becomes independent or dependent. It becomes dependent. Why dependent? Because he likes to work out. What because? But if you combine these two, he goes to college every day because he likes to work out, and we will have this sentence: he goes to college every day, and then this because he likes to work out. So this is independent one in the beginning, independent clause, this one, and then this is the adverb because, or this is the subordinate conjunction because in the form of an adverb. Then we have got this dependent clause. This one is dependent. He likes to work because he likes to work out. So by combining these two, we are going to have a complete sentence that is, he goes to college every day because he likes to work out. Now we have an independent and dependent clause connected together. A sentence cannot be complete without an adverb or a subordinating conjunction. This may be called an adverb. This is an adverb, but at the same time it may be called subordinate conjunction. So as I said, that a sentence cannot be complete without this subordinating conjunction or adverb. He goes to college every day because he likes to work out. We have dependent clause. Why did it suddenly become dependent? Because we added this word to it, because he likes to work out. So if I say he goes to college, this is independent, and then if we add this word, he goes to college, it was an independent. But now it is not going to be independent because we have added this word in order to make it subordinate. And this type of word means because, like this one, this type of word is called an adverb or subordinating conjunction. Subordinate just means below. So this is below this. This is independent, and due to this particular word, that is subordinating conjunction in the form of adverb, it is going to be depending. It will help this clause make a dependent clause, because subordinate just means below. So when we add a word like this to a sentence that's already complete, you make it go from being complete to incomplete or dependent. So that's why subordinating conjunction is a good word to know, because it is incomplete and dependent clause. If we want to know that this clause is complete or incomplete, we will take help from this sort of words. Over here we are taking help from the word because. Because he goes to college, we can take another example like this one. Because he goes to college on foot. So this word, that is the conjunction or subordinating conjunction or an adverb, this is going to make it a subordinating clause, that is dependent clause, a dependent clause. So as I said, because he goes to college on foot, he is very healthy. So he is very healthy is over here, and we are also adding this comma. So punctuation is added. Because he goes to college on foot, or independent clause to complete this sentence by adding a subject and a verb. So this is going to be the subject and this is going to be a verb. But over here, this is the subject and this is the verb. And once we add because to this particular clause, he goes to college on foot. This is an independent clause. But once we add because to this, which is an adverb of reason, so it is going to be a dependent clause. Because he goes to college on foot, then what happens? He is very healthy. So what we have done here is that we have added a new clause, that is independent clause. He is very healthy. So that particular clause, he is very healthy, this makes this a complete thought, because we have got he as a subject and goes is a verb, and this is dependent. Then he is very healthy, again this is subject and this is verb, and it is an independent. He is very healthy. It is not depending on any other thing, but because he goes to college on foot, this is depending on this. He is very healthy. So this is the means cause and this is the effect. So this is the reason behind his health. This is a sentence with an adverb clause of a reason. So this is adverb of a reason. Because is an adverb of reason, which makes it an adverb clause. This clause is going to make it an adverb clause of reason. Before we take more examples, the punctuation rule needs to be understood, because this is a great opportunity to learn a comma rule when we are using two clauses, one dependent and the other independent. We combine them together, we have created a nice complex sentence. Because he goes to college on foot, he is very healthy. This is a nice complex sentence. We need to add punctuation, a comma at some point. The comma goes like this. Dependent clause, because he goes to college on foot, and then we add a comma after it, and then we add the independent clause. He is very healthy. So dependent clause followed by a comma, and then that comma is followed by an independent clause. It is going to make a complex sentence. So when we create a complex sentence, we need to add punctuation, a comma at this point right in the beginning, just after the dependent clause. Because he goes to college, and then this comma, and then he is very healthy. Or whenever we start a sentence with a dependent clause, we need to put a comma before the next clause, that is an independent clause. And this can be written other way around by switching the order like this. He is very healthy because he goes to college on foot. We are not having any comma over here. There is no comma. So now we have he is very healthy. Independent clause is put in the beginning, and we are not going to use this comma. This is not going to be over here, because the word because, the adverb, it is going to connect it with the dependent clause, that is because he goes to college on foot. So this is the other way around. We can switch it like this. This goes in the beginning and this goes over here, and we don't need any comma over here. Rather, we put the adverb or subordinating conjunction in between. But remember, there is not going to be any comma. We have more examples. When she finished her essay, this is again this word when. It is going to help us that this is a dependent clause, and then we have this comma, and then she uploaded it. When she finished her essay, she uploaded it. So this is dependent clause, and this one is independent clause. As soon as I edited my paper, again, as soon as I edited my paper, this is dependent, and then comma, I saw my mistake. So this is an independent clause. Although I studied hard for the test, I didn't pass. So again, this although I studied for the test, this is dependent clause, and then this is I didn't pass is an independent clause. This is a conditional example. If I get help from a tutor, then comma, this is again a dependent clause because this is giving us the condition. I might understand better. So this is the independent clause. So these clauses, these sentences may be switched the other way around by putting the independent clause in the beginning, followed by the dependent clause, and connected by the subordinating conjunctions when, as soon as, although, or if.